Deokpyo complains that Jinhyeok beat one of his guild's members, while Sang-jin is walking closer. To his surprise, Sang-jin simply walks past him. He tells Deokpyo to calm down and adds that this is not a school festival and injuries are to be expected in a competition like this. Sang-jin then greets Jinhyeok and officially introduces himself as the head of Korea's Association of the Awakened. Until 20 minutes ago, he didn't even know Jinhyeok's existence, but he received an urgent call from Mr. Park, who was in charge of organizing the competition. He said Sang-jin had to get here right away because something unbelievable was happening. Quite a few things seemed off, so Sang-jin examined Jinhyeok's test result and found out that he pressured the examiner. With that being said, the association officers bowed down in unison, as Sang-jin congratulates Jinhyeok for becoming the 16th S-rank player of Korea. This shocks the whole crowd, and the reporters immediately flocking over to the middle of the arena looking for an interview. As they run, they completely ignored Deokpyo and Do-hyun, who passed out on the floor. Deokpyo is in a panic because he believes this competition was supposed to be a stage for the Black Cloud Guild to shine. So he needs to get the situation under control somehow, because he doesn't want being completely overshadowed like this. Right after, he grabs the hand of the reporter, pleading to reveal a special plan to defeat the third-floor boss. To his surprise, the reporter decides to ditch his suit and leaves him to get a chance for an interview. Deokpyo is completely ignored while Jinhyeok is surrounded by a massive amount of reporters looking for headlines. In the end, he left the arena alone and disappointed, leaving the crowd behind him. This makes Jinhyeok meet the condition to copy his skill and receive a unique ability called Blood Demon Spirit. The news outlet went crazy after a new S-rank was revealed. Jinhyeok seems happy to see the response is pretty good as he reads the comment. On the other hand, Sang-jin will cover the flight for Jinhyeok after knowing he intends to go to Las Vegas. Jinhyeok feels pleased now that he gets the treatment a high-ranking player would, a first-class flight and stuff. Sometimes later, a flight attendant comes over to give him the meal, as he keeps being appreciative over this little thing, since he can only eat cup noodle as a streamer. As he is eating, Alice calls out to him and points to the person in front of them talking to a flight attendant. Alice says he is giving off a strange smell. To explain it further, his blood smells unpleasant and unsettling. She claims she would never want to drink his blood. Jinhyeok takes it the wrong way because she goes on and on about blood, but she is adamant that this blonde man is not an ordinary human. With that in mind, Jinhyeok uses the eye of the truth to see whether there is something else really going on. The moment Jinhyeok sees the notification, he realizes that this man has an association with the demonic ones. This makes Jinhyeok nervous a bit, because he can't believe that this man is able to act so calmly with that face as a demonic one. The blonde then comes over to converse with Jinhyeok, as he confirms whether he really is the newest S-rank player from Korea. Jinhyeok knows there is no chance this is a coincidence, and doubts the blonde took the same flight on purpose to meet him. Jinhyeok puts up a fake smile, and they converse a bit about the competition. Right after, the blonde gives out his business card, introducing himself as Alex Judro, before he invites Jinhyeok to drink since nothing makes a long trip go faster than some alcohol. Jinhyeok decides to play along with Alex's charade for a minute and accepts the offer. The top-shelf cognac he pulled out flowed, as did his stories about himself. He talked about how great his cosmetics business was going and what kind of hardship he had overcome since the tower appeared. This makes Jinhyeok wonder if this stupid blonde who is enthusiastically grinning and spitting out stories about how he is knows that Jinhyeok has already figured out his identity. Right after, Alex mentions that he is going to start another business regarding the Awakens. He then confesses his true purpose by explaining he gets into a bit of a problem, which is unknown. Jinhyeok claims to have seen the video where he declared he would beat the third-floor boss, so he wonders what kind of problem Alex might have with him. Alex then reveals his group was also planning to take on the third-floor boss, but Unknown stopped them firmly, putting them in a bit of a pickle. He adds, to the public he said it was to protect a friend, but to them, said he had something to do alone and not to get in his way. This makes Jinhyeok thoughts Alex knows Unknown personally, and Alex simply claims that he is. Jinhyeok is a little bit annoyed with how this dumb blonde dares to lie to the person he is talking about. Alex wants Jinhyeok to come with them to the third floor, and it would be a huge help for them. Jinhyeok then appears confused since Unknown pleads to defeat the boss alone. Alex explains that S rank has the right to act independently, so no one will be able to touch him or either of them. The major guilds all promise to let Unknown clear the stage on his own, and since the guilds are strictly monitoring who gets access to the third floor boss's room, this is how they plan to get in. With that in mind, Jinhyeok asks whether Alex really just asks him to oppose a decision made by major guilds when he has only just become an S-ranker. Alex claims that he is a businessman and offers a pay equal to the difficulty of the demand. Right after, he takes out an elixir. As he states, it is a legendary medicine that can cure anyone, even if they have a fatal disease or their heart is damaged beyond repair. This comes to be a surprise for Jinhyeok, wondering what the demonic ones do to get their hands on something this rare. Having it in his hand, Jinhyeok claims to be tempted, and Alex offers it as an advance payment for his service. Right after, he takes out a contract imbued with his magic of Contract of the Dead and asks him to sign it. Of course, Jinhyeok knows what kind of contract this is. From the outside, it looks like a normal contract, but in fact, this contract is cursed. If one signs it and violates the terms of the contract, death will come to claim their lives. But Jinhyeok has nothing to worry about as long as he doesn't sign it, so he shoves it back and returns the contract. Alex is irritated, thinking the elixir is not enough to satisfy him. Yet, when he tries to take it back, Jinhyeok simply refuses to give in. This makes Alex wonder what he is trying to do, so Jinhyeok explains that he might be cautious as he stares him dead in the eye. He adds that he is very greedy, and he is the type to get what he wants. Extremely annoyed Alex. The sheer amount of magic Jinhyeok radiates is disturbing the plane. This makes Alex nervous, with the thought that Jinhyeok is trying to crash the plane. The warning lights up as the pilot announces to the passengers to return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Hearing that, Jinhyeok intends to go back to his seat, leaving Alex only to grit his teeth in anger that Jinhyeok knows what group he is a part of. As he leaves, Alex tries to threaten him not to mess with him if he knows what group he is a part of, and Unknown will definitely come for him. But Jinhyeok knows Alex is lying. If his group and Unknown are on the same side, then they would not be humiliated at the Olympus meeting. This comes to be a surprise for Alex, wondering who Jinhyeok knows about that incident. So he suspects Jinhyeok is an acquaintance of Unknown. Jinhyeok tells him to behave while adding the possibility that he might share some info about Unknown with Alex if he behaves. She seems to feel pleased to see around after being stuffed for thousands of years in the labyrinth, while Jinhyeok warns her to stay quiet as she promised. He decides to let Alice out as a reward for pointing out the demonic one on the plane, though the tallest he could make her with his magic was 150 centimeters. While walking around, Jinhyeok invokes his ability of memory of the world. With it, he fuses the Eye of the Truth and Blood Demon Spirit. As a result, he acquired the Eye of Gluttony with a triple S rank. This is an upgrade compared to the original Eye of Truth, and Jinhyeok was going to fuse it with a Savor Spirit type ability later on. But he needs it right away, so he had no choice. Right after, Alice prompts him to go to the casino, but Jinhyeok already has a destination in mind. He then explains that players are not allowed to use their magic at regular casinos like that. Of course, Jinhyeok could just rob them, but it's not right to cut off the funds of ordinary, hardworking people just to make enough money for their livelihood. This makes Alice wonder where they will go if that is the case. While grinning, Jinhyeok will take her to somewhere incomparable to an ordinary place like that. In turn, this excites her so much as a sparkle lit up in her eyes. Before long they arrive at Tortuga Casino, a private joint that one can only enter with invitation. Alice is disappointed looking at the building and prefers to go to the nicer place, but Jinhyeok explains they are not going to have fun inside. Suddenly, there is a guy crying after losing everything he had because the other person is using skill in the bet. The security simply kicks him to shut him down because he uses plenty of his own skill as well. He states whoever gets cheated is the idiot in this place, as Jinhyeok and Alice make their way into the building. Once inside, Alice regains her excitement once more to see how interesting this place actually turns out to be. Jinhyeok then picks her up like a child, and as he explains, this place allows the guests to use magic freely. He sits her up on the bar, telling the bartender to give her anything on his tab. This of course irritates Alice because she wants to look around. Jinhyeok then takes a shot before he goes off, telling Alice he is going to earn some dollars for the shopping. Sometime later, Jinhyeok plays a few hands with this dealer, named Pedro, who uses a skill called Advanced Blockade. This skill will not allow his card to be influenced. On this hand, he got a pair of jacks, thinking it was a decent hand. He already lost $500,000 to Jinhyeok, so he can't lose to him anymore. Intending to end it all at once, Pedro raises the bet. Jinhyeok pretends to think for a little bit, but he knows he already won this hand. With that, he raises all in, betting about $5 million. Jinhyeok then asks the dealer whether he is sure, because that is a lot of money, but Pedro claims that he is, claiming the house is always confident. Out of a sudden, Jinhyeok asks which guild runs this place. Of course, Pedro willingly answers the question, making him wonder why he asked the question while staying quiet for all this time. Once he thinks of that, Jinhyeok then asks whether he is not allowed to ask questions in this place, making Pedro nervous about whether this guy has some kind of mind-reading skill. But it doesn't matter, he thought, as he is going to reveal the card. Because if he switches the cards as soon as he flips them, Jinhyeok won't be able to do a thing about it. Yet, his hand remains the pair of jacks, turning him completely dejected with failing to perform his skill. He left confused because he definitely switched the cards with his skill, but with the 3 questions he answered, it activates a Newbie's judgment, rendering him impotent. As Jinhyeok shows his card, winning the bet with a king's pair. Thanks to the Eye of Gluttony, which has a mind-reading feature. Jinhyeok then goes to take all of his winnings, before the securities are swarming, trying to hold him off. They want Jinhyeok to come with them. To win that much, they want to know what kind of skill he is using. One of them claims they don't consider someone who tries to make off with this much of their money a guest. A smirk appears on Jinhyeok's face, while the redhead orders his men to take him to the room. Out of a sudden, one of the security gets thrown up upside down. What the redhead says reminds Jinhyeok of something funny he heard on his way in here. His excitement boils over, as he states whoever gets cheated in this place is the idiot. Chaos ensues as Jinhyeok dodges bullets from the securities, before he dashes toward him and smacks him down. Alice is still sitting leisurely while the crowd feels ecstatic to see a single person beat up the security. Jinhyeok runs rampant in the background as Alice praises the bartender, asking what this and that kind of drink. She explains this one expresses the passionate love between 2 new lovers, the kiss of fire. Despite the chaos behind her, Alice feels disappointed to know how boring the drink is. The redhead prompts his underling to seek help from the guild executives. Unfortunately, they are still on their way for 30 minutes. This confuses the redhead as he thinks this is not right. Even though this place has no rules, no one ever goes on a rampage like this on their own. Another man appears to inform the redhead they might have a problem. Once he takes a look, he now knows the person rampaging in his casino is the new S-rank player. He also knows that there are less than 20 S-rankers, even in the United States, and he can't believe there is one right in front of him right now. If Jinhyeok really wants to destroy it, the casino could cease to exist. That instant, the redhead commands his men to stop at once. He immediately kneels in front of Jinhyeok, apologizing because they don't know who he is. This irritates Jinhyeok because he can no longer stretch his leg and all. Jinhyeok then steps to face him, telling him to not make him laugh. He knows this kind of place where the people who get screwed over are the idiots. So Jinhyeok wants the money he won, plus the compensation for the emotional distress he experienced from being attacked by them, even though he won fairly, totaling $10 million. Jinhyeok then grabs his collar and tells him to give the money or they can close up shop. In the end, Jinhyeok receives the money and thinks this amount should be enough to bid on anything he wants.